Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group, coming to you guys today with a Fuck It Friday. You guys know how it is. Each and every Friday, we got to talk about something that you should not, absolutely should not give a fuck about. I'm going to quote somebody. When I was at the last dinner that we had at Apex Executive, we went out, we spent a little time, and we had a guy there who had actually spoke by the name of Aaron Wagner. And Aaron Wagner is the owner of Wagner Capital. Went out to dinner. There was probably 50 of us at this dinner. And big dog Aaron Wagner picked up the bill. Who knows how much that thing was, but incredibly good guy. He was a speaker at one of the masterminds that we were having over that weekend. And one of the things that he said that stuck with me, and I'm talking about this guy's running multiple businesses. I mean, I can't even tell you probably how many investments that he's financing. Everything from multiple restaurant chains that are franchises into he's got one that's really growing right now called Everbowl. And basically, it's really growing out on the West Coast. But I'm talking about probably he's involved with, if I was to take a guess, 50 to 100 different business models, maybe even more than that, right? And one of the things that he said that stuck out to me is that perfection is fool's gold. So the one thing that we definitely should not give a fuck about is absolute perfection. And what happens is a lot of people get this idea that whatever business they're launching, whatever it is that they're in, every single aspect has to be perfect. The problem with that is that's going to hinder your growth because there is nothing perfect in this world. I don't care. You could bring me a $1 million Bugatti. In fact, I think these things go up to probably $3-4 million now, depending on what model you have. You know, a set of tires for a Bugatti is like $100,000 because they sell them with the rims as well. And there's going to be a flaw on that car, like literally a million or a multi-million-dollar car. There's going to be a flaw somewhere on that vehicle. Now, there might not be as many flaws as you would find on a Kia. There might not be as many flaws that you're going to find on a Honda, but I'm going to guarantee you on that multi-million-dollar Bugatti, somewhere on that vehicle, there's a flaw. Nothing is perfect. And a lot of times people think that to launch a business, the timing has to be absolutely perfect. You know, you got to have so much money in the bank. And the stars will have to align themselves. And you got to have all of these details broken down to the point to where you absolutely know every single aspect. Well, the problem with that is you begin getting hyper-focused on perfection, and the deadline never ends. You know, it's continuous. And I've seen people do this. I actually seen a guy who had this dream of owning this specific type of detailing shop. So this guy, he had a detailing shop, but he wanted to create this specific type of franchise model. And I literally watched this guy for 20 years. And I want to say the last time that I seen him, he actually finally had the draft of what the building would look like, right? And I would guarantee to you today, in fact, I know for a fact that he does not have this current business. And I mean years upon years upon years of planning for this perfect business model, this perfect thing that he was developing. And still today, it hasn't been accomplished. Let me explain to you guys quickly how this goes, okay? When you start a business, It's almost like if you got a pile full of rocks, you got a pile full of pebbles. Let's just say you got a pile full of big stones, you got a pile full of rocks, you got a pile full of pebbles, and you got a pile full of sand. And all of this is to be fit is to actually be fitted in a jar, in this one jar, right? How do you do that, right? How do you do that? First, you put in the rocks, then you start sprinkling in all the different. You put in the big chunks of rocks, then you put in the pebbles, and then you start sprinkling it down all the way to the point to where you fill this entire jar up. And then finally, you take the sand and you put it in there, right? Because you can shake all of this sand into place. So a lot of times when you do something in business or you start a new business or you're going into a new venture, you just got to start doing the heavy lifting first. You got to start putting the big chunks, the important things into place. As you move forward, as you learn, you're going to find yourself putting some rocks in there, right? And it's not until you actually begin completely, you're completely immersed in this business that you start putting in the little fine details in the sand. One of my business mentors used to tell me that was keeping your finger on the pulse. A lot of times as entrepreneurs and business owners, we got to have our finger on the pulse, or we've got to have a frontline man, like, or a management company or something like that, with their finger on the pulse, a protocol to grow something from an idea. It's going to go through that incubating period to a full-on business. And I've done it many, many times over and over again. And a lot of times there may even be something about that business that I don't know, but I know that I can find somebody who does know. That's the key. That's the understanding. So you don't have to know everything when you go into a business. You've just got to have a full understanding that knowledge is out there and it can be obtained, whether you buy it or whether you learn it yourself. Okay. So anyhow, y'all, that is one thing ultimately that you can stop giving a fuck about today is perfection. Because my friends, as Aaron Wagner says, perfection is fool's gold. All right, everybody, I appreciate you for coming along on this Marketing Revolution podcast. And don't forget to get on over into the Marketing Savage Facebook group. All right, everybody, we'll see you on the next one.